In this video presentation, we're going to cover how to create a new master option file. Now, in the previous videos, we discussed the console options. And now we're going to create our master option file. And there are 5 different techniques on how to create those files. Okay, there's 5 different options for that. Select Tools, drop down, and Options. And you can see in the pad stack rules that everything is grayed out. So we're using the internal defaults. So the internal defaults are what come with the program. So when you install Footprint Expert for the very first time, you can open up Options. You're going to go to SMD pad stack rules and or drafting and or fiducials, and everything is grayed out. Now you can keep these and use the default options. If you want to edit them, you have to File, Save As, your master file name. So I'm going to select File, Save As, and we're going to create a master option file here. Master options, just type in whatever name you want, save it, and then all of a sudden now, all the SMD pad stack rules light up like a Christmas tree here. Okay, so now you can go ahead and edit your solder mask and paste mask and your corner rounding for your rounded rectangle pad shapes and all your SMD pad stack rules and all your drafting rules. And we'll cover that in a different video on how to edit on what these features are. But all we're doing today is creating your master option file. But now this particular option file is the internal defaults. And we took the internal defaults and saved it under our My Master file. And that will be for you to edit now. Okay, so you can just use, in other words, in terminals in surface mount, you might want to use these solder joint goals here, or you can go ahead and append them any which way you want. Now, the third way to create your option file would be to open an existing option file. We have 3 files that we have: IPC 7351B, IPC 7352, and MILS. So if you want to use the 7351B option file, you would File, Open, and scroll to that file, 7351B, and now the 7351 has all of the terminals options that are in the IPC 7351B standard. So all your toe, heel, and side solder joint goals are defined in this B. But you can't keep this 7351. Right down here is your option file name. And if you don't save it under a different name, it's going to overwrite that file every installation. So you want to make sure that all the files that you create, a new software installation will never touch the files that you create. So you're going to want to take this 7351B file and file Save It As, and you're going to want to save it as your master file. 7351B, say, and then you got that file. The other thing that you can open is 7352. And the difference between 7351 and 7352 would be in your SMD pad stack rules, there's no manufacturing tolerances and there are no negative solder joint goals. So in the 7351B, because of the manufacturing tolerances, IPC had to add negative values to some of the side goals because they were too robust. Because once you add the terminal tolerance and the manufacturing tolerance, the pad's width became a little bit too robust. So IPC, in their grand wisdom, they used negative values to compensate for the manufacturing tolerances. However, if you select File, Open, and you select 7352, okay, then you go to SMD pad stack rules, the manufacturer's tolerances are 0. And all the terminals, if you go to Terminals, Surface Mount, and all the negative solder joint goals, if there were any negative solder joint goals in these terminals, they're now 0. Okay, that's the difference. Now if I want to keep this option file, Right now I'm in the master. I'm opening the master 7352. If I want to use 7352, and it has the same solder joint goals, by the way, as IPC 7351. The IPC didn't change very much there. I'm going to say File, Save As, and then select the master 7352. You can call it any name that you want. But now here's the file name that you got. Now this is your file that you can use to edit all the other values. Because in the drafting, for instance, for your silkscreen and assembly and courtyard and your component outlines, there are no standards for outlines. So when we have, for the nominal density level, for instance, 0.15 millimeter outline width, there's no standard on that outline width. You can make it any size that you want. You want to make it 0.1, 0.12, 0.15, 0.2, whatever value that you want. And I would recommend that your clearance to pads be the same as your outline width. So that's the difference between the IPC 7351 and 7352, okay? Would be no solder joint goals that are 0 or that are negative numbers, or no manufacturing tolerances. The fourth thing that you can do, actually the fifth, is open up the mils option file, and now everything turns to mils. Now if I go to SMD pad stack rules, you can see here that none of these values are whole mil integers, okay? Because I'm still using millimeter units in my console options. So as soon as I change my console option units to mils, then all of a sudden all of my numbers in Footprint Expert all change to whole 1 mil integers, okay? For your drafting, everything is in 1 mil integers, okay? For your fiducials, everything is just mils. Mils is mils, okay? Not fractions of a mil, just whole mil integers. And there's 5 different ways to cover master option files, okay? Let me just go and do an overview of all 5. The first one would be you would use the internal defaults, where everything's grayed out. The second one would be File, Save As, and you would use, and that would turn everything on, and you can go ahead and use and change anything that you want for your surface mount pad stack rules, your drafting rules, and all your other numbers and values. Your fourth thing is open up IPC 7351B, next 7352, next mils. So you have 5 different options. But make sure that whenever you open up an existing option file, that you resave it immediately under a different name. That concludes how to create a new master option file.
Simplify, standardize, and automate an entire IPC and IEC compliant library. Detailed, accurate, reliable, professional. Highest quality footprints and 3D step models, clicks away. Many companies worldwide are easily generating their CAD libraries. You should too. Get a fully functional Footprint Expert Evaluation license for any CAD format and demo today. Contact us at PCBlibraries.com or call 847-557-2300.